Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today is Michelle Smeltzer. Michelle is our community liaison officer or director or...
Not a director, just community liaison.
Member. I don't know. But she wears so many hats in the community. You're on a lot of different boards, and right now she's on the thermal shelter project. It's this time of year.
Yes.
It should be opening soon, but I think she's going to talk about it. They have a really... the last time you were in, we talked about 2 or 3 places that you were trying to squeeze in for the winter, but now you're going to have at least a permanent home for this season.
For this season,
so
yes.
That's good. So tell us about it.
Well, and we had talked about moving into the Laurel Center building, but that didn't work out for us. So, and we had this other opportunity that came up while we were still working on that, and that is with the Presbyterian Church. And they're on Luray Avenue, and they have a space that's pretty much separated from the rest of the church. Mm-hmm. And I guess it used to be a daycare or something like that. I think CCAP might have been in there years ago. Right. I'm not sure, but it's a good size space for us. And the Presbyterian Church offered it for the season. So we'll be moving in there on December 17th and opening.
You can kind of stay set up the whole time and not have to tear down, set up, set up, and haul things all around the countryside. It's a lot that saves you a lot of staff time.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's a huge blessing for us to be able to stay in one place and to keep everything up. And yeah, it's a lot of work for our staff and for the board.
Well, can you use some more volunteers?
We can use some more volunteers, and we can also use more dinners. So we have a volunteer sheet that's out. It's on our Facebook page. Just look up Thermal Shelter of Front Royal on Facebook and like our Facebook page. And then we have a form that you can fill out and sign up for dinners. We usually wait a little while until all the churches sign up, because usually churches will take a week at a time, and then we break it down into days. But I believe we are still looking for December 26th that week, which is pretty quick. Coming up pretty quickly.
That's a hard week to fill sometimes.
I know. So I think that one is still open, but we still have a few other weeks left. So it would be great if you have a church or a community group, some kind of an organization, and you think you can do more than one night. That would be wonderful if you could set it up. And if you don't know how to do it or can't find it, you can always reach out to me on Facebook or through social services.
Right. So I'll help you. How many meals are you preparing a typical night?
We haven't opened, so we don't know. Usually when we open initially, we're pretty low in numbers. So, I would look at maybe 20 initially, maybe more. I keep getting calls about people, needing a shelter, so it might be more. But our maximum, I think, is going to be 35. Okay. So the space will support 35 nicely. Okay. So I think that will be
the numbers go up and down throughout the week. And
yes.
Yeah, but it's amazing that you have, it's 20 people don't sound like a lot, but it is a lot of people when you think about and that's just a small section, fraction of really the homeless people that are in the community. Some just don't want to be involved in it.
Right. Some people don't want to be in a shelter environment. They've had bad experiences with shelters. Some, they are intense and they just want to keep their belongings safe, and they want to make sure no one gets into their stuff, so they don't want to leave that tent. But I think this year we'll see a lot of people. Right. The number of calls we're getting.
Right. Walk us through the procedure there about when do they come in, when does it start, when do you feed them, they get breakfast, where do you take them, where do they leave, where do they go? Kind of give us the rundown.
So what we're trying to do is be able to pick up a group maybe at the gazebo. And we'll be picking up between 5:30 and 6 p.m. We might not be able to do it every night. We're looking for volunteers to drive the van.
Right.
Come in, pick up the van, take it down to the gazebo, drive back. It's, it maybe half hour, 45 minutes at the most of your time. We'll open at 6 p.m. every night, and they will receive a hot dinner. And then in the morning they'll receive a light breakfast, maybe hard-boiled eggs or cereal or muffins, bananas, whatever. And then a bag lunch if they want it. So we'll have that, have some sandwiches made for those that want to take a bag lunch. Some of them aren't interested in that. Mm-hmm. So in the past few years, we would make lunches for everybody, and we found that not everyone really ate their lunch. So now it's pretty much we'll just, make up some sandwiches. They can take them with them or not. And so we're not going through as much food that way.
Right. So do you have organized people are all set up? It's because this is an open shelter. It's not just for men or just for women.
It's just for adult men and women.
Right, adults.
No children. It's a low barrier shelter, so we take people as they are. If they have, some people have some mental health issues, some addiction issues, and as long as they behave and they're not, aggressive or anything like that, then, we're happy to take them as they are.
And this is supervised all through the night.
Oh, yes.
You have your people on staff there.
We have paid employees there the whole time we're open. In addition to, usually there's a board member, at least one board member there in the evenings when people are just coming in. It quiets down after dinner, of course, and people are going to bed and lights overnight, out, right? Overnight lights out at 10, and then overnight's pretty quiet.
Right.
And then in the morning, getting everybody up and out, and so that's another little
Well,
pretty.
This is a project that you and several other people have taken on over the last few years because it's not been around. It's not that old. I mean,
no, it's not that old. It really isn't. I feel like it's been around a lot because of when the pandemic was here, then we were open a lot longer than we normally would be. Mm-hmm. We're open 15 weeks this season, which is our typical amount of time. But during the pandemic, we were open 6 months at one point. So it just feels like we've been around a lot longer than we have.
So you open up on the 21st, I think?
No, on the 17th.
Oh, 17th.
It's a Saturday night, Saturday, December 17th. We open at 6 p.m. We'll be frantically getting things together. We've been able to move in early, so we were able to get some things, put together.
It was cold last night.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's starting to get really cold at night, and I know I've talked to some of our friends the last couple of days, and they said that when you open, yes, I get a lot of that, and I feel bad. I feel bad that we can't open sooner. We don't have the place, we don't have the money to really be open an extended length of time. We try to save some of our money for the days that we're open all day. We try to be open all day on the holidays like Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and then any time where it's been snowing or sleeting or something like that where it's just really horrible to be outside. We try to extend the hours or keep it open all day. And the Presbyterian Church and Pastor Carrie Evans has been wonderful, and they're perfectly fine with us being there during the day if needed.
So you'll take donations? Tell us about that.
Yes, we're happy to take donations.
This is really a good work in our community. I mean, it doesn't affect thousands. Well, it does, but I mean, the people that it does affect and help are most people are very appreciative of it.
Right.
And,
yes.
There's several there that like you owe me and you're taking advantage of it. But
so that's a really small,
very small amount.
You might have a couple people there that that are like that, but then you have to remember that there might have their other issues and some trauma in their background. And,
right. And you also come there with your DSS hat on as well, don't you?
Yes. So we are looking to help people who want help. If you're, we get people from maybe sometimes from out of the area, and we want to make sure that they have, the programs like Medicaid and SNAP and, whatever programs that they qualify for, we want to make sure that they can get them. And then referring them to other partners in the community that could help them maybe obtain a deposit for an apartment or something like that. We have a lot of elderly people that come through, so we try to connect them with our adult services, and maybe they need assisted living or maybe they need nursing home care. And so that's a way to get them in to our adult services unit and help those people.
So you always have those eyes on, keep
trying to figure out how we can help them get out of the homeless. And we have quite a few that have been housed.
That's really the goal of the organization. Is we want to.
Yes, we would love it if we could find
to shut down and not need have a need.
Yes, that would be.
Work yourself out of a job, right?
I would love to work myself out of that job. And so we, work with people. They might not have gotten into an apartment, but they've gotten into assisted living. They've gotten into nursing. So we have a few from even last year that are housed. However they're housed, whether it's assisted living or whatever, they're housed this year, so they won't be back. And that makes me very happy that we were able to move them into permanent housing.
Sure.
So
if you can just help just one person, it does make a big difference.
Right.
On the whole thing, and it does give the other people hope that the time will come along.
Oh yeah, I mean, we try to help getting them into a rehab if that's what they want. We'll help them get into that, and that's not easy. So they make it very complicated. But we help them get their driver's license or their IDs or their birth certificates, whatever they need that will help them move forward. We're going to try to get for them. Okay. So. And we do that all through social services and through the ministerial fund at social services where we can, help them out.
We're going to put the link to the Thermal Shelter's website right below the video here. Click on that. There's a page there that says donate and put a little Christmas cheer to the Thermal Shelter. How's that?
That's what we need. Would be great. And if you
the money goes a long way. I'm telling you, they can really stretch it out there.
Right. And most of our funds, it goes to payroll. We have we have donations of food. Sometimes we have to purchase food, but mostly it's donated. We have a lot of cots. We have as many cots as we need right now. We have a lot of bedding. We probably could use some more twin size sheets, but I've talked to a few people who are probably going to do that for us. So really the funds help us employ people to stay there the whole time we're open. And, as we all know, it's hard to find employees. We are looking for overnight employees. We do have a minimal staff for overnight, but we would like to get a couple more people. So if you like working nights, so we have our 12 midnight to about 7:30 in the morning shift that we're looking for people. And just let me know. Be happy to discuss it. But we need a couple more people for that shift, I think.
Our community comes together and helps support these kind of things that happen,
yes.
the needs of our neighbors and friends. And
it's a huge community support. Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of people are so excited about us being able to be in the Presbyterian Church. And so we've received a lot of well wishes and
good. I wanted to ask you, how did your event go over there? Spend the night in our sleeping bag.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. We will probably do that again. We didn't have a ton of people there, but we did have quite a few. A lot of families, a lot of people with kids, with tents. A lot of tents up there. It was very nice. The United Way came out and offered hot chocolate and apple cider. Had some speakers. We had one of the speakers was one of our guests from a couple years, and he went through rehab and he's doing great. And it's been over a year now that he's been.
You feel like it's worth all the effort that you put into it.
I just you love to see that,
Sure.
So he spoke, and it was really a nice event.
Yeah. They wanted to do is spend the night out here in the cold, and see how it's like to be homeless.
Right. Just a little bit, a little bit of homeless. A little bit. It wasn't real. I mean, you were in a tent, yes, and some people stayed in their cars. So it was cold that night. It was in October, and it just was a cold spell that week. So just to kind of bring awareness
to our homeless situation that we have, and again, this is really plaguing the whole country. It's not just
right. Yes, it is. Yeah, we everywhere. I'm from Southern California, so of course we've had a huge homeless population out there, and I'm happy that ours is not that bad, but I really would hope that eventually we can get some resources that will. Like permanent supportive housing, something like that will help people that are experiencing homelessness get into permanent housing, because I think once you have a home, it's easier for you to get a job. It's
Sure.
easier for you to do things. If you have housing, if you don't, it's really difficult.
Right. Well, one of the things the sheriff's office of Robbie and Terry were in today talk about our monthly activities and the things that are going on there, and things come up with all the events and people, just the community coming together
Right.
and helping. But it's really it's something that this homeless situation, but it's just never going to go away. Hopefully it does. But what I mentioned about them is they have 19 burials that they're going to do this spring of people that have just not been claimed,
Right.
and a lot of
Right.
homeless and different things. And it's just hard to wrap your head around that. You would think everyone has a family of some sort somewhere, and it would be far and few between that you just wouldn't have people. Of course, like they said, sometimes a family has just done all they can for people that have mental issues and they don't want help, and the family has done everything they can. They finally just had a tough
Right.
love and to do it. So it's just hard to believe. You think everyone has someone, but that was a good example. What they talked about, 19 people this year.
Yeah.
That have died, and no one claimed their bodies, and so
Right.
they're going to be doing they're looking for see whether they're in the military or not, do a military, and just do something, put them.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea
do it.
to do
So
that. Yeah.
but that goes along the same way that there are people out there that are just homeless. They're
And
just
they
not.
don't have anybody.
They don't have anybody, or not anyone that'll put up with them anymore.
Right. I mean, I do intakes with them, and part of that is, is there a emergency contact? And so many tell me no. I said, you don't have anybody, nobody in their, they've either all passed away or they have nobody that we can contact if something happens to them.
Well, we know that families have these conflicts. I was talking to a lady; she needed some assistance, and I'm taking the kids over to their grandmother. Well, the grandmother lives in town in her house. But the daughter and the grandmother, so there's a big conflict there.
Right.
I'm staying at a hotel, but
Right.
so you can tell that there's some family issues going on when you have that. And of course, we don't know all the situations, and it's not for us to control their lives, so to speak. But the help's there if you need it. Just reach out, and if you ask, you have to knock on the door before anyone opens it. You know what I mean? So. All right, we appreciate it, Michelle. Anything else for the last minute? I think you've covered everything. But
well, for social services, we are doing a toy drive.
That's right.
We're looking for toys, unwrapped toys we brought in. So we're doing that until probably next week.
And you're dropping them off at your office?
Drop them off at social services, yeah.
On 15th Street.
On 15th Street. And we want to do a little shout out to the sheriff's office for doing a coat drive for us. And
I heard you got tons of coats.
They brought a lot of coats, yes, and it was fabulous. Some of them new coats, gently used coats, so it's great, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's
we work
wonderful.
with an individual who does a lot of coat drives for vets. He takes up a truckload up to the Veterans Hospital in Martinsburg, and they disperse them around there. It's something you just don't think about, like everyone has a coat. No, everyone doesn't have a coat.
No, they don't. Yeah. Well, so this is, people come all year long, freezing cold at the thermal shelter, and they don't have a coat. So,
I thought only kids didn't wear a coat. You see them out at the bus stop. It's freezing outside. You got a T-shirt on.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. Again, we'll appreciate it. We'll put all those things below the story. Reach out and put a little jingle there over to the thermal shelter this week. Click on the link, donate a few bucks over there. It goes a long way and helps a lot of people.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Michelle.
you, Mike.